All right. You look at what's happening in the world and you look at history, it seems nothing has really changed, and that history is repeating itself all the time. Poverty, homelessness, crime, war, human suffering in general. Our history is full of those things, and we can't seem to escape it. It's like we're stuck in a loop, so to speak. And throughout my research, I've been able to identify three primary reasons why we've been unable to break free of this endless cycle of torture. The first is uneven wealth availability for everyone. Now, wealth doesn't necessarily mean money. Wealth is anything you or collective humanity finds valuable. Things like food, water, shelter, clothing, electricity, oil and gas, earth minerals, antique collections. Things people work towards can be considered wealth. And the second is humanity's lack of understanding of the golden rule and the laws of cause and effect, or natural law. The third is humanity's constant violation of natural law, especially the laws of free will. There's a classical Taoist principle of allowing people to grow and evolve on their own time, in their own pace. Letting nature run its course, so to speak. Instead of doing exactly that, we're constantly trying to control and manipulate people's mindsets and actions. A lot of people are arrogant enough to believe that they know more about what's right and wrong than they actually do. Every major institution on earth is guilty of this, especially government, organized religion, the media, the education system, the health system, and of course, a lot of parents and caretakers. Sure, you want to give people direction, such as explaining why certain things and actions are harmful and what the better alternatives and course of actions are. However, you don't shove this down people's throats. It's like growing a plant. You let the plant do its thing without you forcing it to grow. If you try to force the plant to grow faster, you risk destroying it before it can even blossom. Human growth works the same way. It's our constant interference in people's lives that's creating all these chaotic events that we fear so much. Give people directions, but let them discover on their own time where they want to go in life. This is what I meant when I said we're violating the laws of free will. Newton's third law, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Trying to manipulate people into things that aren't natural for them will create undesired responses and scenarios in your personal life as well as society as a whole. Again, natural law, cause and effect. Don't do unto others what you don't want done unto you. It's that simple. And there's also the problem of uneven wealth availability. We've set up a system where only some people can be successful and wealthy. Okay? Again, this goes back to what I said about free will. Every individual is different. They have different skill sets, abilities, and interests. Not everyone can thrive in a rigid 9-to-5 one-size-fits-all system. And we're forcing this system upon everyone. This is the reason for all the poverty and homelessness. Something to keep in mind is that street gangsters, violent extremists, and terrorists all grew up in an impoverished environment. And not everyone is meant to work corporate jobs, or service jobs, or thrive in post-secondary education systems, etc., etc. And not everyone is going to have the endurance to do 9-to-5 jobs either, and we should learn to respect this. So-called lazy people are only that way because they, rightfully so, rejected people's attempt to force them into something they weren't meant for, especially when they were children, while at the same time not being given the time they needed to discover their true passions and abilities. The time needed will be different for everyone, which is all the more reason not to force things. This uneven wealth availability creates a hoarding mentality, which then creates greed and corruption, which then creates a system where instead of cooperating with each other for wealth, we're competing with each other for wealth. This is why we have wars, why we have crime. Universally, there's enough wealth for everyone. The problem lies in restricting availability of wealth to those who can jump through certain hoops that not everyone is meant to jump through. Now, organizations like the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, the UN, the Rothschild banking dynasty, the Zionist lobby, individuals like Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, George Soros, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, these people are not the problem. They are only contributors to the problem. Okay, they are not the problem. Okay, this whole New World Order takeover, what some people are calling a communist takeover, it isn't happening. It already happened. Okay, past tense. Okay, this takeover that people fear so much already happened. Okay, that battle was fought and lost long before any of us were born. Okay, that one world government was here all along. Okay, they're private international bankers and whatever entities they're being controlled by. And that one world currency is also here. It's called the US dollar. Okay, oil and energy transactions worldwide is done in US dollars. The IMF, the World Bank, the SWIFT system, all use US dollars. Okay, so that's your one world currency. Okay, all these agendas that we're seeing with the COVID mandates, digital IDs, 15-minute cities, the campaign to get us to fear climate change and eat grasshoppers and bugs, the whole you'll own nothing and be happy nonsense, all of these things are nothing more than an attempt to fine-tune and remodel a system that was already rigged and corrupt to begin with. Okay, that's all. Okay, the takeover already happened. They're just looking to remodel the very corrupt system that's been shoved down our throats. Now, we can still say no to these remodeling attempts. In fact, I encourage you to do so. Just realize that the actual problem is way deeper than what we're reading and hearing about. Okay, we're not fighting an invasion or a takeover attempt. We're fighting ages-old human enslavement and mind manipulation. And we can't possibly hope to win until we, at the very least, change our mindsets. Okay, deprogram ourselves from lifelong belief systems that we've been conditioned to believe has any legitimacy. Like the belief in government, for example. One of many examples. And I'm sorry to say this, but we are creating our own suffering by violating the very cosmic laws of nature I mentioned earlier. Okay, we need to learn to follow natural law or cosmic law. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. Except maybe the names and faces of people we dislike. However, the same problems will persist. Okay, change starts with you. Okay, if you want more freedom, liberty, peace, and harmony in your life, you can start by living by those principles. Okay, give yourself and others in your personal life the same freedom and liberty you want government and other people to give you. Okay, start promoting the very peace and harmony you want to experience. Okay, adopt a mindset that aligns with natural law. Okay, don't just wait for positive change to happen. Create them yourself. And the best way to start just happens to be your own personal life. Okay, promote and live by the very principles you want to see in others. Okay, you'll eventually inspire someone who will want to do the same, and things can grow from there.